Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video will be part 4 of the 4-part series where we build a phrase guessing game using Angular. In this video, we will be continuing where we left off in the game and adding the game logic that allows the user to win or lose the game. If you have not seen the previous videos in this series, then you should pause this video and go check them out first. I will have a link in the description below where you can go check them out. Alright, let's jump back into it. First, let's review what we currently have with our game. Back in the browser, if I come and click start, then I can see that I have a phrase being displayed. And if we click some of the letters, we can see that letters are appearing. But if I click a wrong letter, we are not currently taking any lives away, and there is no concept of a life. Also, if we get all of the letters correct, then we aren't currently winning the game. So in this video, we'll be adding that logic. So back in VS Code, the first thing we want to do is add the lives to the game. So up in the header, I'm going to create a div with a class of lives. So again, I'm going to be using Emmet. I can do .lives and hit tab, and that gives me a div with a class of lives. Inside that, I want to span, and I just want it to have a heart. So I'm going to copy and paste a black heart into the span. I just went and found this icon on the internet, and then now we will save that and see what that looks like. So back in the browser, we can see that we have one heart showing up, but we want the user to have 5 lives. So let's come back, and then we will add a property called lives and set that equal to an array of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The reason we want to set this to an array is because when we use ngFor back in the HTML, we can actually iterate over the array. So let's come back and we'll type in ngFor and do let live of lives. Let's save that. And now we can see that we have 5 lives. Now, if the user presses an incorrect letter, we want to take one of the lives away. So let's come back. And here where we are checking for the correct letter, we want to take one of the lives away if the letter isn't correct. It may seem like we could just do an else statement here and then do this .lives.pop to remove a life. But if we look at the way this works, we're looping over each letter in the current phrase. So if we type the letter H, then the letter would be correct for the first letter, and then the next time through, the letter would be incorrect because the current letter would be E, and we would be checking for the letter H, and then we would lose a life even though a letter was found. So we need to remove this. So we need a way for this function to know whether or not a letter was found. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to set a variable and we'll call it letter found and set it to false. By default, we don't want to assume that a letter was found. And then if a letter was found, we're going to set letter found to true. So now we can come down below and say if no letter was found, so not letter found, then this .lives.pop, and this will remove the last item of the array and remove one of the lives. Also, we want to check and make sure that all of the lives haven't been lost. So if this .lives dot length triple equals 0, then we've lost all of our lives, and we want to show the overlay. So this dot show overlay equals true. Let's see if that works. So back in the browser, I'm going to click start and then press I, and we can see that one of our lives was lost. Let's hit P, another life was lost. And then now, if we lose the rest of our lives, the overlay was shown. But if we come back to our example and we lose all of our lives, we want the text to show you lost all of your lives and try again. So let's come back. And currently in the HTML, we have this hard-coded to start game and start. So we're going to extract that out and create properties. So we'll have overlay text equals, by default, start game, and overlay button text equals start, and then come back to the HTML. This is now going to be overlay text and this will be overlay button text. And then one last thing, if all of our lives are lost, then we want to set this dot overlay text to you lost all of your lives, and this dot overlay button text to try again. So let's see if that works. We'll come back, click start, and we can see that it replaces the text with you lost all of your lives and try again. Now if we click try again, we can see that this isn't correct. And the problem is, if we come back to the code, when we start the game, we're selecting a random phrase, but we're just pushing those characters to the current phrase. So now, when we start the game, we should set this dot current phrase to an empty array to reset it. So let's try that out. We'll come back and we'll click try again, and we can see that we can now try again. But now we have the letters are still disabled. So we want to reset the keyboard. So let's come back and we'll go back to the keyboard component and add a method called reset. And in this method, we're going to do this dot keyboard dot rows. And what we want to do is for each row, so do a for each, and then R for row, and then for each row we want to do a for each of it. So for each, which would be the key, so K, and then K dot disabled equals false to re-enable the key. So let's go over this again. If we come up and look at the keyboard, we have a series of rows. This is a row. This is a row, so 3 rows. And then inside of each row is a series of keys. So we want to go over all 3 rows and every key in that row, and then set disabled back to false. So save that. And then back in the app component, when we call start game, we want to reset the keyboard, but that method lives in the keyboard component. So we somehow need to get access to that. So the way we do that is we come up and we will do a view child. So view child of the keyboard component, and we're going to call that keyboard, and it's going to be a type of keyboard component. And here we are getting an error, and the reason is we're not actually setting this in the constructor, but Angular is setting it for us. So to get rid of this error, we will just do an exclamation point there. And now we have this keyboard property that we can call the reset method. So in start game, this dot keyboard dot reset. So save that and try it out. So we come back over, we click start game, and then we will lose all of our lives, and then click try again, and the keyboard is reset, and we can now try again. So now we just need the logic for if we win the game. So if we come back to the check letter method, we need a way to see if all the letters have been shown. So we're already looping over all of the letters here. So here we're going to do the same pattern as before and do let hidden letters equals false. We're going to assume that there are no hidden letters left. But then in the loop where we're looping over all of the letters, we're going to say if phrase letter, so the letter we're currently looking at in the loop, dot hidden. So if it's hidden, then set hidden letters equal to true. So now down below, we are going to check if there are no hidden letters, so not hidden letters. And if there are no hidden letters, then we want to show the overlay. So this dot show overlay equals true. And then we also want to set this dot overlay text equal to you win. And this dot overlay button text to play again. We'll save that and try it out. So we come back, click start, and then now we can see that it says you win and play again. So the last thing we need to do is come back, and in the select random phrase method, we're actually not setting a random phrase. We're just selecting the first one. So what we want to do is do const random number. And we want this number to be a random number between 0 and 1, because the first item in phrases is 0, and then the second one would be 1. But we don't want to just hard code it to be between 0 and 1. We want it to look at the length of phrases. So the way we'll do that is math.floor and pass it the result of math.random times this dot phrases dot length, and then come down below and change this to random number. So save that and try it. We come back, we click start, and we can see that we now got my awesome phrase. So if we reload the page, we can see that we got hello world this time. And if we reload again, we got hello world again, and then my awesome phrase. So this is working correctly. And that concludes the end of this 4-part series. Thanks for sticking around. Do me a favor and leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought of this video series. If you'd like to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and bell icon down below so that you don't miss a video when they come out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.